Welcome back for another episode of the Medeek Truss Plugin. So today we're going to take a look at the Valley Truss Set, and that can be found here in this third icon in the Draw Truss Set icon that you see up top here in your toolbar. But before we even get to that, let me just kind of show you around a little bit on this complex roof model that I've created here. And this is just kind of to help give us something to generate our Valley truss sets on. But before we get too far, I'm just going to show you kind of what I did initially to set this up. So first of all, I generate one large rectangular portion of the roof, this main roof right through here, and then I of course did the same process here, and you'll notice that the gable ends, well, I didn't use the gable here, this is prior to starting the gable end trusses, but I redid this portion here just to show it, and as you can see I've removed the gable end on this end. It would naturally create a gable end truss on this other end as well. So what I did is I just simply delete that, and I'm not going to take you through all the steps because I don't want to take a lot of time on this video, but it's very simple to just delete that gable end truss and then to move this one over to butt it up against these ends of these trusses, the main trusses here, and then also to trim this back is not a big deal either. So it's very easy to really set up a complex roof once you have the basic rectangles and the basic roof components set up. So as you can see, it's in three components here that the roof is created. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you exactly how this Valley Truss tool actually works. So in order for it to establish the roof plane, it needs a rectangular plane to make that calculation. And in order to do that, you could use the sheeting of the roof. The easiest thing I find though is just to take and select a point on top of one of these chords that define the main roof plane. So what we do is we need 3 points, and we'll just click this and we'll go Valley Set, and of course there's a bunch of other ones here, but right now the Valley Set's the only one that's actually active. And so we're just going to select that, and then we're going to come over here and we're just going to put our cursor anywhere here on top of this chord, and this defines the main roof plane. So we'll just select that, and then the next 2 points, well, the next point, the second point, needs to be the center of the last truss. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be the center, but it needs to be at the peak of the last truss because it's going to align the peak of the valley set in line with that point. And typically you want your next truss to line up with that peak, and also to be 24 inches on center from that center of that peak. So this, wherever I put this next point, the valley set truss will position its first truss out here, basically whatever the spacing is. So I'll demonstrate. So let's go ahead and select the middle of the peak of that final truss, and then the final point you want to select here on the peak, and that just defines the direction of the valley truss set. So if we click here, it's going to send them out this direction. We don't want to go that way, we want to go this way. So we'll just select right here. Let me just zoom in more so you can see what I'm selecting here. Okay, now it brings up one dialog box, and this dialog box, you set the pitch of the valley truss set so that it matches the current roof, which happens to be a 612. And then of course you can set all these, and these default to 3.5 inches, which is pretty typical, and of course 1.5 inches. Now, and of course now we get to the truss spacing. So in this case, we have 24 inches on center, so we're going to leave that as it is. And then we have this one other option here, and this is what's called the sheathing offset. So let's say that you had hid the layer for the your plywood or your OSB on top of this roof, and then you selected this point here. Well, if you want those trusses, the valley truss set, to sit on top of that OSB as it should, but you've selected this as the plane, well, now you can just enter in an offset, and so then it will add that, plane, lift that plane basically the appropriate amount off of the top of the chord so that it can take that into account. But in this case, we'll just go ahead and let that at 0. So then we just hit OK, and there you have it. And you can see that it's set up the valley truss set quite nicely. And if you check down here, you can see that it's resting right on top of that top chord, just as it should. And like I said, if you had set an offset, then there would be like, a half-inch plywood here, and this would be resting on top of that plywood. So it gives you that option. Alright, and let's just go ahead and jump over here to this little one here and see how this works. So same thing again. We just go ahead, it's very simple valley set. It's already pre-selected that because that's the only option available right now. Go ahead, find a face here on top of this chord, and then let me use a shift key so I can maneuver around a little better. Select the center of this, and select this corner right here, this peak, and then we'll go ahead and run that at 612. Leave all the rest the same. And there you have it. And then just to verify, we're going to check a measurement here. So basically on center spacing, and sure enough, we're at 2 feet. So that's pretty much it for valley truss sets. And you can make pretty much any configuration possible with any pitch. The only thing to note is that it does take 3 points, and so those 3 points and the placement of those 3 points is critical, because that's the only way for the plugin to actually determine where to place the valley truss set. So I hope that is somewhat explanatory on how to use that feature. And by the way, you'll also notice too that this valley truss set is its own little component or group. It's actually a component, I guess, and then so is this one. So these are separate little items, and that kind of makes everything modular, so you can delete it or move around or do whatever you need to do with it. Alright, well, I appreciate you watching this video, and if you have any questions or concerns or want additional features for this particular item, please feel free to give me a shout. Alright, thank you.